Quick disclaimer, this was recorded while I was recovering from sickness. Even right now, if my voice sounds a little nasally to you, that's why. Thank you.
Me?
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby... Oh my goodness!
Took me long enough, huh? Maybe I was just hiding from the scissors. There were so many of them. God. Welcome back, everyone, finally, to TWD, the series in which your local idiot puts on the thinking cap for just long enough. Dual personality disorder. Ever heard of it? If not, I can guarantee that you'll become a specialist in the matter upon the end of this video. What do I mean, you ask? Say hello to none other than Toko Fukawa, ultimate writing prodigy. Remember when I said there weren't enough screwdrivers in the world for Hifumi? Well, let's just say a power drill isn't enough for this one. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else, buckle the fuck up. Oh, and be sure to tune in until the end, alright? I'll be talking about the issues I had between the beginning and the ending of writing this script, as well as when you can expect a new TWD. Hopefully. Anyway, psychology ain't my major, but I sure as hell intend to disassemble the character of Toko Fukawa. Let's give it our all, shall we? Chapter 1 of this novel is pretty lighthearted. Well, as lighthearted as I can make an absolute psychopath seem like anyways. Toko is one of those characters that you have to see to believe that it exists within any sort of media, given how hysterical she is. Not only does she suffer from dual personality disorder, housing the most infamous serial killer of the canon Danganronpa universe within her psyche, but she also happens to be a survivor that plays a major role in the sequel to the first game. So, 4 characters to talk about, you say? No, not really, surprisingly. Genocide Jack doesn't really change in between games, which is sort of refreshing since, at least in the first game, she's the best part of Toko's character, in my humble opinion. No, you see, the honor of changing remains on her, big air quotes, normal side. Let me just make sure this is known right out of the gate. Ultra Despair Girls Toko is light years ahead of Trigger Happy Havoc Toko in my chart. That being said, we will look at both here, as you could imagine. So, we're technically disassembling 3 different characters in one video. Triple kill! Even though Genocide Jack will require literally no work at all, thank you. Let us begin with Beta Toko, aka Dang it Grandpa Shooty Shooty Bang Bang Toko. Like I stated earlier, Toko is one of the 6 survivors of the first outing of the series. This gives her 6 chapters to show us what she can accomplish. Now, I know the background's green here, so I'm supposed to say something nice about her. But this is a rare exception because she doesn't really show off that much. Or at all. Yeah, I'm going to be honest here and say that there's not a whole lot to say regarding Trigger Happy Havoc Toko. I do have some stuff though. I personally really like both her design and ultimate talent. Writing has always been something I aspired to get good at, so I can respect her on that. Besides, in the midst of the frankly unremarkable presence that Toko has in the game, she does have some genuine good lines every now and then.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
For reasons I'll clarify in the critics section, there's not a whole lot more I can say about her in the first game. That being said, I can thankfully switch over to...
Oh, killing these things just doesn't light my fire!
Good God. Talk about a fucking glow up. From probably the least remembered character for me in the first game, to arguably top 15 within the series. Top 20, at least. That's the power of, say it with me, character development. Yeah, that's pretty much the name of the game when it comes to Ultra Despair Girls. It's actually the first time I'm talking about this game within a TWD, so I'd like to formally apologize if I go a little cray-cray when it comes to it. In case you haven't noticed, I thoroughly enjoy UDG. Like, a lot. Of course, not all parts were winners. No! But overall, I'm not afraid to say that I actually really liked it from beginning to end. Komaru's an awesome protagonist, matched by the absolute vile villainy of Monica Toa. And while that could be all there is to say about this, behind a great protagonist lies an even better support character. Most of the time anyway. This is not one of those, but the support character's still pretty damn good. Enter Toko motherfucking Fukawa and her alter ego, Genocide Jack. All the puns are definitely intended. I swear to all that I hold dear, and that means Chihiro Fujisaki and Kanata Inori, that I've yet to experience such a 180 with any character again. And the best part? It was absolutely fucking earned throughout the entire game. Chapter 1 Toko is almost as obnoxious as Trigger Happy Havoc Toko in general. But through her friendship with Komaru and the trials they both endured to reach the climax of the story, they help each other change, becoming the absolute dominant figures they were always meant to be. And it's all shown in one of the final cutscenes of the game.
What are you doing? Outsiders have no business interrupting us.
I'm not an outsider. We're friends.
Aww. I've been told you weren't the type to interfere. That's why I chose you to take on the role of escort. But it appears that the information Mr. Servant provided was false. So, how about this? That's right! It's the key to the room where Mr. Byakuya Togami is locked inside! Say, you want to trade this key for that controller? If you do, you can go home with Mr. Byakuya Togami!
You're telling me to choose between Komaru and Master?
Now it's your turn to make a choice.
Fine then. Hand over Master's key.
I knew you'd do it! Now, why don't you just hand me that controller?
No, not gonna happen.
Huh?
Because I'm taking Komaru home with me as well.
What are you saying? You gotta make a choice, that's the rules.
Who cares about your damn rules?
When you really think about it, it's kinda crazy, isn't it? Toko's whole arc in this game revolves around saving Byakuya. And yet, even if she does hesitate at first, she ultimately makes the right call, saving Komaru from a fate that, in all seriousness, would be worse than death. And nothing exemplifies her growth better than her refusal to give the controller with this line.
Both are important to me. So I'll definitely protect both.
And then we get the confirmation that this Toko, this ultimate writing prodigy in front of us, is almost like a new person.
That hurts. What? You hit me! My hand hurts. But that's not the only thing that hurts. This is the first time I've ever slapped someone in the face. See what you've made me do? Now come on, hit me back. Why? Isn't it obvious? It makes us even. I've never had a friend, so I don't know what to do in situations like this. So just, for now, if you hit me, we're square, right? So, Hit me! Fine. That was pretty strong. Jeez! You're right. You're right. My hand hurts. That's not the only thing that hurts. Yeah. We're the same. If you can't do something on your own, all I have to do is help you. If I can't do something on my own, all you have to do is help me. Helping each other. That's the advantage of working together, right? Yeah.
I've got nothing to add. And it isn't because I don't have stuff to say about this scene. Oh, trust me. I'll likely talk about it when / if we ever reach Komaru in this series. I want to, but I don't know. No, I have nothing to add because from Toko's perspective, it literally speaks for itself. Those words, the ones she just said, they're actually true. I understand if you think that after the first game, she formed a bond of friendship with the rest of the surviving cast. I mean, it would make sense, right? Trauma bonding and all that. Thing is, while Makoto is the second purest boy and likely considers her his friend, nobody else really does that in the capacity that the Naegi siblings do. One word for all of this. Fantastic. UDG tapped into the potential of Toko Fukawa and Genocide Jack, allowing them to coexist beautifully. And speaking of Genocide Jack, well, like I said, what is there to say about her? Her Ultra Despair Girls intro paints her entire character throughout the entire series perfectly. A serial killer who takes pleasure and has fun with bloodshed. For anyone that isn't a friend of hers, of course. But every other time, she's a fantastic one-liner machine. Comic relief at its finest. There's not really much else to say about them. Just make sure you're not in their line of sight if you want to live. That being said, it's time to transition to the red background from a position of relative safety. Well, here's the part that I promised at the start of the previous section. You may have noticed it yourselves, but there was a distinct lack of trigger-happy having Toko up until now. Sure, I praise her design, talent, and overall knowledge of the writing arts, but well, let's just say that Toko Fukawa during Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc is certainly one of the characters of all time. Now, I'm not really sure if Kodaka and the team at Spike Chunsoft at the time were aware of the series they'd make with Danganronpa the way they did later, so I can't even point at UDG for the reason for what I'm about to say, but the point still stands. And what's that point, you ask? It's pretty simple. Toko's existence within the game is completely arbitrary, at least when it comes to character growth and plot progression. And I know there's already someone typing, Genocide Jack! And to those people I say,
Correct!
it's a pretty simple thing to think about. Toko Fukawa and Genocide Jack are two distinct characters that share a body. But one can't deny that Jack is far more important to the story and character interactions of Trigger Happy Havoc than Toko herself. This is why I was pointing my finger at Ultra Despair Girls at the start of this segment. Toko's arc doesn't really start until the start of that game, so she's essentially a slot filler during the first game. And I'm sure you all know how I feel about those types of characters by now. During Trigger Happy Havoc, her main role is, well, to be a creep of the highest order. Bordering on yandere status, actually. Her creepiness highs are frankly just as high as Ifumi's in my humble opinion, as exemplified by this scene.
Maybe.
And once again, her one saving grace is Genocide Jack's entire existence. Toko Fukawa is, besides those creepy moments I mentioned earlier, the most unremarkable character in the first game. I don't think I'm alone when I think that way. Hell, I'd like to think I ain't alone when I think that way. And that's saying a lot, isn't it? The first game's cast is one of the weakest in the series. Much of the fault of that stemming from the fact that, well, it's the first game, mostly a footnote to begin the Danganronpa universe with a lot of experiments to see what would be good for it. And out of all of them, Toko is the one who leaves the least interesting impression in my opinion. Remember when I said I experienced a complete 180 when referring to the way I see her character upon finishing UDG? This is why. I went from not caring that much about her to absolutely loving everything about her character arc and friendship with Komaru. This is my one true gripe with Toko's entire character, but it is incredibly aggravating. Like I said, she's a paperweight in the first game when not channeling the insanity that is Genocide Jack. The fact that she survived and was instrumental in saving the cast, again, using Genocide Jack, makes me want to believe that UDG was a planned thing already. But I know that's likely not the case. And because of that, this will always remain a massive thorn on Toko's side. With that being said, all that's left is to sum up my thoughts on Toko Fukawa and Genocide Jack. Let's go. Toko. Man, the potential you held when you first debuted, and the shining star you somewhat transformed yourself into in your follow-up title. I stated this a lot during the critics section, so one more time won't hurt. No, scratch that. I need for someone involved with the story writing to confirm that Toko was a non-character because Ultra Despair Girls would have an arc for her. And since that's not happening, well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We're stuck with someone who, in her debut game, fucking sucks. No ifs, ands, or buts. I can make that statement while keeping up with the whole every character is important thing, but only because of Genocide Jack. At least when it pertains to Trigger Happy Havoc. But then, we reached the turnaround. Ultra Despair Girls. Yep, I'll admit it. Kodaka fucking cooked when it comes to Toko in this game. From lone wolf renegade running around and causing mayhem on her own, to a real friend to my favorite canon protagonist in the entire series. Bravo, crazy lady, bravo. So, all that's left is to ask the usual ending question. Is Toko Fukawa a good character? It's amazing what a game focused on good character writing can do to mend a shitty debut. Right now, without question, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, top 15 within the canon series for me, most likely. Or, at the very least, top 20. Fixing a character has never seemed easier, folks. I don't really have a second question for the Ultimate Writing Prodigy. I believe I've covered my bases pretty nicely throughout this video. I do sincerely hope she kept writing after DR3's ending. For more than her own sake, if I'm being honest. Hey, it's been a while, huh? Yeah, I did allude to how long it's been since the last TWD at the start of the video, but I do have a few things to say regarding that. So, first things first, I hate using this as the main excuse for the lack of content in the last 7 months, but work has really taken over my life. I'm still trying to, in a soft term I guess, harmonize both that and my attempts at content creation. It's been tough, I'll admit, but a few things have been given enough to be started/restarted. One of those is actually the castings for episode 2 of YTTD Abridged. Link for that will be in the description if you're still interested in giving it a shot, but in all seriousness, thank you guys for your patience. In the meantime, I did finish the Another series and had a blast with it through and through, as well as top 10s for both of those games. And regarding TWD, I'm glad I was able to continue this series, even if after all this time. So, let's get back to our origins, shall we? Once again, the poll for the next character will be in the description of the video, So make sure you make your voice be known and vote for who you want to see next. Other than that, I believe we're done here. Once again, thank you for watching. If you like this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new to the channel. And if you want to be notified of future uploads like this one, hit the little bell, you know what to do. Also, if you want to join my Discord server or follow my Twitch channel for more constant updates, link to both is in the description below. I believe that's all. Stay safe, and until next time, peace.